Yeah, when I looked at it on Plex, it was like these are some like high ratings for not a good movie. Oh my goodness. Ugh. I am the properly mixed Tyler Briggs. Jeez. I I feel like that needs to be fixed. I feel like that. Oh, it's very loud. It's very tinny sounding. There's like an. It's almost like no, not that's. It's a still. You gotta change like the gain or the some sort of input thing on it. I think. Oh, that's yeah. I am the properly mixed Tyler Briggs. Ooh. Ugh. Hey, hi man. Wait, that was in. Oh, never mind. Sorry, keep going. Oh no, nothing. Don't worry about it. Yeah, it's been a bit. Okay, interesting. Well, quick and clean. There's a. You know what? Well, we don't need to be quick and clean here. We got time. So there's a lot of films that are quite bad that we've watched, and I'm usually pretty vocal about it. But the one thing that a lot of films that are usually bad is that they're not personally offending. Like I can kind of understand what they're trying to do, and there are moments where you can be like, okay, that was kind of funny. Like the directors set out with, maybe they didn't, but you can kind of find something in the film to kind of be like, okay, this person was making a movie, and here are some classic things that are movie things that they wanted to have in this movie, and I can see what they're trying to do sometimes, but it's always like, all right, good try, not for you. You know is fun. I can see how some people might enjoy the film. Um, not so much on this one. Not at all. The thing is, it really hooked me at the start. Like the first 5 minutes of the film was like, okay, this has a chance. Oh, you know what? Maybe I'll be surprised. Maybe this is actually going to turn out all right. And then it just slowly degraded into just I about halfway through, I was like, why? Like, this is not enjoyable. I'm not having a good time. And then I started getting upset about the film as it kept going. And then, oh man, it was rough. It was rough. And then I was like, oh, I was very vocal while watching it in the early hours this morning. Um, but yeah, basically, it's like there's no rhyme or reason to anything. In like whether you look at like the characters, you look at how they react to things, you look at the progression of the story, you look at like the impact anything has on like any you I was looking for any sort of meaning to any part of the story, and or like having like a motif that comes back where it's like they have something that happens early on in the film and then they come back to it and be like, oh well, this was like a foreshadow for something or the other. But it felt like everything that like may have been slightly interesting that they were alluding to, it just resulted in nothing. They just wanted to have something in there that was like, oh, there's this weird thing, and then it doesn't really come back and have a meaningful impact later in the story. So a lot of it was me just kind of like trying. I was trying to reach real hard to find something to like say that connected one part of the film to the other in this weird mess of things. But I mean, at the end of the day, it is about like it's a cosmic horror where like we're not people aren't supposed to be able to perceive it properly, and then you go insane. Maybe that's what they were trying to do, and awesome. Don't make movies about that ever again because that is not for humans. Make them for the other cosmic horrors and release them at the cosmic horror theater. Um, but yeah, no, it's just really bad movie. This is one where I would actively go to my way to tell people not to watch it, and if someone was like, "I really want to watch this," I would argue with them and tell them don't watch it. Yeah, yeah. Yeah. Hmm. Yeah. Yeah. Oh no. Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. I'd like to jump right back on the one thing you said in that where you like where we both agree is like what's the point of this film? And especially when you brought up Nick Cage there, where there's films like Mom and Dad, which I haven't seen, but I assume it's basically just a romp of Nick Cage being Nick Cage, and that's the whole point of the movie. But they embellish that. They really just like dig right into that sort of just that aspect of the film, and then that's what makes it fun even if nothing else of the film makes any sense and it's just crazy and dumb. It's still like you're having fun with that, and no, none of this. There wasn't any aspect of the film where it felt like they were like really digging into it. Like they weren't like even the cosmic horror stuff. They never really like went into it that much enough to be like, oh, like there's just some really interesting lore about like these cosmic things coming to Earth, and like you get interested in them in that way. It was just all very vague and like uninteresting. Sorry. Anyways, whoever's next. Uh, Yikes. That's not good. Yeah, 1 hour 50 minutes. I was definitely checking the clock frequently. Yep. Hmm. Yeah. Yeah. Jeez. Yeah. It was. Yeah. It was just so inconsistent with this one I found, and I feel like it wasn't intentionally inconsistent. Yeah. Yeah. Oh yeah, when he like when he just like the first time he lets loose on the daughter and the son, when he like walks out of the barn from the alpacas, and he gets like this weird accent, and he like starts talking to him like he's like he just gets sassy with them for no reason. Oh no. Yeah. You can't. Yeah. 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 Uh, yeah. Get that out of here. Oh no. Yeah. But what did it even mean at the beginning? They're just saying they're like alluding to there already existing like an ancient evil in the woods, but then it comes from outer space. It's new, and then they kept alluding to like the something already being there, or like some they mentioned his father, like Nicolas Cage's father, like a number of times, but there's no like the past. I feel like has nothing to really do with it, unless Travis, you got a point. Oh, so he's the one who was the narrator at the start. Mm, yeah. Mm, interesting. Yeah. I would assume not. Yeah. Oh, jeez. Oh man, I don't want. Come on, Kirkland. Don't. I'm gonna just go ahead and hide non-video participants right now. Yeah, 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 yeah. Nope, nope. Yeah, yeah, he gets pulled into the well by the. I don't know. I don't know. Yeah. You can't even see that it's the dog in the well. Yeah. Yeah. They're like, oh shit, we showed the goggles earlier in the film. What's the payoff for this? And then it just does nothing. And that I feel like that's all the film is. It's just like, oh shit, we forgot about this. We need to have a payoff for this moment. Yeah. Yeah. Also, there was a good like at least 15 seconds when he was like, so it took him like 2 seconds to climb down to where he was in the well, and then obviously like you start like things start happening, like the tentacles start reaching up and like there's movement and he starts regretting the decision. There's a good like 15-second window where he could just climb out of the well, and he just doesn't. He's just like he's just staying completely still, yelling. Yeah, yeah, yeah. You have the young kid who's corrupted, and then you have yeah, 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 yeah. It very much felt like they read a guide on like good moments to have in a horror film. But then after they filled the first like 45 minutes with like these moments that have a payoff later, they didn't read the part about paying off those moments. And then they're like, "Oh crap, how do we like relate back to this later on in the film?" Yeah. Honestly, I was surprised at the lack of like weird crazy effects. I was fully expecting it to, cuz you know how like the very end of the film when it's like colored with space and then like distorts the title card at the very end of the film, and like it starts distorting it all weird before rolling the credits. I thought there would be more effects like that throughout the whole movie. I thought like the majority of the film would be in like this weird like distorted universe that these characters are trying to like make their way through. Um, yeah, yeah, yeah. I think they realized they didn't have much of a budget and they had to really like decide where to put the special effects and where not to put it. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I feel like they also may have done like the title card effects and like the end of the film. They may have done those effects early on, and there's like, wait, we don't have much budget for anything else in the film. Yeah, it's rough. Oh yeah, probably. I would say at least 5 million, probably. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, 100%. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, that's fair. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, uh-huh. Yeah. Yeah. You can very yeah. You can very clearly see there's no chemistry at all. Was that, the real speculation is, was that an improv line? Did Nic Cage come up with that? Mm-hmm. Yeah. I don't think she had anything to work with. Yeah. 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 Maybe that's why they needed Nick Cage. Because some of the lines they wrote, no one else could deliver them in any a way at all. It would just make everyone turn off the movie immediately. I mean, I think he was trying to grow tomatoes, but then they were infected by the. Yeah, it's like, and what's all these weird flowers and like colored plants that are like taking over my garden? Mm, no, no suspicion. Yeah, 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 yeah. 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 Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. The bourbon color. That's a good one. I enjoyed that. Yeah. Also, when he's on the news and the way he describes a meteorite coming down, it's like he's talking about the sex he just had with his wife that night before. Yeah. 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 Oh, I think it. I think it. I was gonna bring this up later, but I 100% think it was alluding to it that it actually did rape her. I think they didn't want to show it because that's pretty fucked up, but I'm pretty sure it was alluding to that it was because it was clearly doing something when she was laying on the ground and me like, "Stop it, mom!" And then, I mean, like, what other conclusion are you supposed to come to from that? Mm, yeah, no. Yeah, no. Yeah. Hmm. Yeah. 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 Well, I don't think he actually eats them. He takes, yeah, but then he spits it all out after because he thinks they taste gross. Yeah. 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 Hmm. Did they? Did they? Okay, I'd have to. I don't want to go back and watch it, so I'm just gonna ask you guys. Did he refer to the guy in the woods as his as a squire at the very start? Because that's what I heard. Because he's like, is there the hydrologist was like, is there anyone else who like lives on this property? And then Nic Cage said, oh, that would make more sense. Because I heard, oh yeah, we have a squire who lives here too, and I thought it was like a sassy like get off my land remark of like there's obviously no one else who lives here, so he just said like a fucking medieval squire lives here, and then but I guess it was a squatter. That makes a lot more sense. Thank you, Taylor. Yeah. Oh, this was a good one. That was a fun scene. Oh man, yeah. Oh yeah, yeah. I was just gonna say that. Oh jeez. Yeah. Hey, he checked on it and he said it was working. So he. Yeah. It's not happening. Yeah. 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 I think that's on the writing for not understanding how the car works. Yeah. Again, what was the point of it? You know? Yeah. 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 Yeah, I guess so. Yeah. Yeah. And it was kind of odd that he was like so against like working against the kids because at the start they try and set him up to be like the kind of understanding father and like the mom's the stern one because the very first scene when she comes back to the horse he's like hey like you probably shouldn't ride your horse bare feet and stuff but at the end of the day he lets it slide and he's like okay just be responsible putting the horse back and don't let your mother see you like he's like all right you're like a kid like I understand what you're doing I'm trying to guide you in the right direction but like you gotta yeah you gotta do what you gotta do. I'm gonna be understanding and I'll let you kind of live your life. Just don't let your mom know. But then he turns into the one who's like the stern one, and it's like what? Eh. Yeah, yeah, yeah. He's always like kind of aloof. Mm-hmm. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Also, who was that like CIA person with her? Who's like there's the person just in a suit with an earpiece and it's like who is this person and why is he here and then like it's like you have the local police show up then you have like the kind of shady government agent that comes to check it out and then you have like the mayor and whatnot who's kind of silly and like doesn't really know what they're doing but then they didn't they had him in that one scene and then they never referred to him again. Yeah, yeah. 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 Why did they feel the need to check on him? Much after. Yeah. 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 Mm-hmm. Yeah. I think that was one of the ones out of the horror scene book where it's like it's good to have a scene where like you have security cameras that are kind of grainy, and then it gets like progressively darker in the security cameras, and they had to fit that in somehow. So also right after that, when the tree swoops down and kills the cop, great, just wow, master class film right there. I did want to say on the hydrologist though is there was a good like it felt like at least 40 minutes where it felt like they actually forgot about the character and I didn't think it was coming back um, and I it was very it felt like one of those things again where they realized partway through there's like oh right we have this character in here how is he like what's he going to do in the rest of the film yeah 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 what like what even happened at the end what are our theories. Why did everything like go gray and like explode, and then there's all of a sudden no color? Yeah, but then that little the flying bug thing that they put emphasis on for no reason was still there at the end. Yeah, yeah. My theory is that um, they like there's like a whatever for whatever reason the government was like oh shit this is getting out of hand and then they just like nuked the place. That's what my because it's like all ashy and like you could see like the like Nicolas Cage's hand was disintegrated. Also, the emphasis on the ring. They like had a zoom in shot of him wearing a ring at one point. It was like, well, yeah, he's married. This makes sense. And then at the end, it's a shot of his hand with the ring there still. I don't know. They're reaching for payoffs with that, but yeah, it seemed like what they were going for was like, oh, like some there's like my thought at least is like what they were trying to do is that like oh this thing's like getting crazy and as a last resort like the government comes in and nukes it to try and get rid of it and then because he was in the wine cellar it was bomb proof I guess and so he stays alive and that's why at the end of the film when he's looking back it's sort of like it's kind of swept over like the world is still seems similar you know uh, yeah yeah no Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. Well, at the very that one scene where like she gets like a vision of an alien planet where there's like all these like little worm things swarming over and then there's like that one pillar that goes up. The symbol she cut on her forehead was like in the shape of like a piece of architecture on top of that pillar on the alien planet, which is so strange because why is that cosmic planet like weird architectural design that probably has some significance if you read the book or something. Why is that? How did she get that from like a witchcraft book? So yeah, yeah, mm, yeah, yeah. I don't know, man. Yeah, or maybe the witchcraft is based off of the alien life force who came to Earth centuries ago. Mm-hmm. Yeah, yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. That's. Uh, yeah. I I think that's a stretch. See, yeah. Oh no, not at all. Mm-hmm. Yep. Oh yeah. That's a classic move. Yeah. He puts on his face a lot. Well, I think he tried to get like basically get his fingers like a little bit wet with like from the ice cubes, and then that that cold water from the ice cubes would soothe his rashes. Also, the liquor in the nose, I assume, is because he has that horrible smell from the color, and then it's him trying to drown it out. Just a Nic Cageism. Mm, yeah. Maybe that's why they made him smell something. There's like, how can we explain this weird Nic Cage thing of touching the alcohol into his nose? Mm, who knows? Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. That's great. Yeah. It just showed up once in the film. Oh my goodness. What? I'm distressed already. Ugh. Oh no. It was definitely Joseph Gordon-Levitt. Are you making a Lovecraft universe? Uh, ah. Yeah. That's a good trivia right there. Ugh. Ooh. Yep. Yeah. Yeah. I would say just a little thing for me. It'd be probably better to refer to those as more of a cosmic horror things rather than like H.P. Lovecraft successors. Yeah, that's more the genre rather than yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh. Oh, geez. I I feel like this is a zero for me, based solely on the fact that I don't think this film should exist, and I don't think I've ever said that about any other film. Um, I mean, I've already laid it out all the things, but it's basically just like it's not even loose ends; it's just loose threads that don't really have a proper beginning either through the whole film. It's incredibly inconsistent. Like all they just introduce things with like the assumption that it's already that we should already have some knowledge on the things they're introducing. A lot of the things, but then they also none of the payoffs, so they never tie up the loose ends, or the payoffs seem very half-assed, like they forgot that they should have paid this thing off that they had earlier in the film, and so it just feels like a bunch of loose threads that are like you don't have the beginning or the end of the thread. They're just like in there, and it's all jumbled about and inconsistent. Um, and I I I mean I may have been a little I may not have tried my hardest, but I was trying to get something out of this film to think of like at the very start of the film I was like, hey, this cinematography is not bad. The very first score piece that you get during the narration, I was like, hey, that's not bad. Like I was actually into the film for like the first 10 minutes, but the thing and normally films I don't like I'll say like if the cinematography is good throughout, I'll acknowledge that. I'll give it a couple points here and there. If the score is good throughout, I'll give it a couple points. But it just degraded like very heavily as the film went on. So I feel like I can't even acknowledge that they did a good job with any of those aspects. And yeah, like this is probably the only film where I'm actually offended that it exists. Um, and I'm like I was visibly and like I was very conscious of how upset I was like through parts of this film that I had to watch it. So not good. That's a zero for me. I really hope that this fails and does not turn into a trilogy of any sort. Um, I think cosmic horror is very difficult to do. So I mean, you know what? I don't even know if I want to give them props for trying. Um, I think they. I think they. I don't think I will. I think they had the idea of a cosmic horror film, which I think cosmic horror is super interesting. But they went. I think they went completely the wrong direction with it and tried to get the wrong things out of it. Like Bird Box, for example, I would say is a good interpretation of a cosmic horror kind of story. Um, but yeah, it's just not. Don't watch this. Don't. Don't do it. Ugh. No. You said that like it was like an 8 out of 10. I was very. I had to recheck in my memory whether you said 2 or not. Oh, so if there was a sequel and we were to review it. Yeah. Yeah. You know what? Oh, jeez. Yeah. Yeah. You know what? Yeah. Oh, that would be. I would actually. I'd respect that a little bit, where they make a whole like cinematic universe, but it's done by the same cast every time, like a play or something, like a performance. Oh hell yeah! All right, now I'm slightly more intrigued now. Oh, I hid that picture a long time ago. Oh yeah. Uh, I think I missed one instance of this, so I'll throw it down this time. Dylan reminded me, luckily. The quick later nerds. See ya.